Kate didn't sleep that night. After discovering Harry's secret file, filled with photos, old reports, private details, her world tilted all over again. She wanted to scream. Break something. Erase every inch of progress they'd made. But instead, she packed a bag, picked up Ethan from school, and told Harry they needed space. He didn't argue. He simply nodded, eyes full of regret. "I'll be here," he said softly. By nightfall, Kate and Ethan were at a small guest house near Victoria Island. Quiet. Unlisted. She kept her phone off. Avoided social media. Blocked every thought about Harry. But there was one thing she couldn't block out. The letter. It arrived earlier that morning. No return address. Just her name. Inside was handwriting she hadn't seen in 6 years. Her mother's. Kate sat on the edge of the bed, letter in hand. She hadn't spoken to her family since the scandal. Since she left town. Since the shame made her cut every tie. They hadn't reached out, or so she thought. But now, here it was. A letter from home. My dearest Kate. If you're reading this, it means someone finally found you. I've written this letter so many times in my head, but nothing ever felt right. I know you feel like we abandoned you, and I can't blame you for thinking that. But the truth is, we didn't know where you were. We searched. Your sister even went to Lagos twice. But you were gone like smoke. Kate blinked, breath catching. She continued reading. I remember the day I got that call. Someone from your office. They said you had been fired. That you were involved in something disgraceful. Your father was furious. He said he never wanted to hear your name again. But I knew better. I knew my daughter. I knew something wasn't right. He changed, Kate. After you left, he became bitter. Cold. And when he died last year, he still hadn't forgiven himself. Kate dropped the letter, hand covering her mouth. Her father was dead. Ethan looked up from the corner where he was building blocks. Mommy. She wiped her tears quickly. Yes, baby. Why are you crying? She smiled weakly. Just reading something from the past. The letter continued. If you found peace where you are, I won't disturb it. But if you ever feel like coming home, your room is still here. And I'll be waiting. Love always. Mama. Kate folded the letter gently. So many emotions swirled in her chest, guilt, grief, longing. Her father had died, never knowing the truth. Her mother had never stopped looking. And she had buried her past so deep, she didn't think it could still breathe. The next morning, Kate sat on the balcony with tea, the letter on her lap. Ethan climbed onto her lap. Can I ask you something, Mommy? Of course, sweetheart. Where is your mommy? Kate froze. She's far away, she replied softly. In Benin City. Can I meet her one day? Kate smiled sadly. Maybe. That afternoon, she booked 2 bus tickets. Destination, Benin. The road was long. 6 hours of bumping wheels, tired legs, and cheap snacks. But Ethan was a trooper, staring out the window and pointing at goats, buses, and sky-high trees. And Kate. She stared at the letter over and over again. Reading between the lines. Wondering what kind of welcome waited. When they finally arrived, the town hadn't changed much. Same narrow roads. Same crowded junctions. Same old mosque at the corner near her childhood house. She walked up to the familiar brown gate and knocked. A voice from inside, who is it? Kate held her breath. Then the gate opened. And there stood her mother. Older. Grayer. Slimmer. But still her mother. They stared at each other for a long moment. Then, slowly, Mama whispered. Is it really you? Kate nodded, tears already spilling. It's me. And without another word, Mama pulled her into a hug. A tight one. Like nothing else mattered. Ethan stood back, confused but smiling. Then Mama knelt. And who is this young man? Kate sniffled. Mama, meet your grandson. Ethan. Mama gasped. Her eyes widened. Then she hugged him too. And for the first time in years, Kate felt like she belonged somewhere. That evening, they sat on plastic chairs in the backyard, under a sky full of stars. Mama served hot yam porridge, and Ethan played with a stray cat he found. Kate told her everything. From the night of the betrayal, to Ethan's birth, to the kidnapping, to Harry. Mama listened. Quietly. Nodding. Eyes wide. Sometimes staring. When Kate finished, Mama said just one thing. You were stronger than I ever knew. They spent 3 days in Benin. And it felt like healing. Ethan loved the space. The neighbors. The chickens. Kate loved the quiet. But every time she closed her eyes, she thought of Harry. On the third night, Mama brought out a box. Your father kept this, she said. All these years. Inside were old pictures. School awards. Drawings. And tucked underneath, a small newspaper clipping. Kate's scandal. The headline, Young Architect Fired After Disgraceful Incident. Mama looked away. He kept this. Maybe out of anger. Maybe out of guilt. But he never threw it away. Kate picked it up. Then something caught her eye. A tiny note scribbled on the corner in her father's handwriting. I don't believe it. Her breath caught. He had doubted it. He hadn't hated her completely. He just didn't know how to say it. The next morning, they said goodbye. Ethan hugged Mama tightly. I love you, Grandma. Mama smiled. I love you too, my baby. Kate hugged her longer. Come back home anytime, Mama whispered. I will. Back in Lagos, Kate turned on her phone for the first time in days. 50 missed calls. 27 messages. All from one person, Harry. She scrolled to the most recent. I'm sorry. I never should have followed you. I was scared. I thought you'd hurt me again. But the truth is, I'm the one who's broken. Then another. If you're okay, just say something. Please. Kate took a deep breath. Then typed one message back. Meet me. Just us. Tomorrow. 6 p.m. the cafe near Freedom Park. The next day, she dressed simply. Jeans. White top. No makeup. No armor. Harry was already seated when she arrived. He stood when he saw her, looking nervous. You came, he said. I needed space, she replied, sitting down. I know. And I deserve that. Silence hung between them. Then Kate asked, why did you follow me back then? Harry leaned forward, voice low. Because I couldn't lose control. Not again. After what happened 6 years ago. I didn't know what was real. So I tried to get ahead of it. I thought knowing everything about you would help me trust you. But it made me feel like a case file, Kate said. Not a person. Not someone you care about. I do care, Harry said, eyes raw. Maybe more than I should. That last line hit like thunder. Kate looked at him. Really looked. He wasn't pretending. He wasn't cold anymore. Just a man who had made mistakes. And wanted to fix them. Then she whispered, Ethan loves you. Harry smiled. I love him too. And I don't want him caught in a war between us. We don't have to be at war, Kate. She nodded. No. We don't. He reached across the table, gently touching her hand. I want to earn back your trust. Kate didn't pull away. But she didn't lean in either. Then start small, she said. Start as my friend. Harry smiled. Friends it is. The silence was thick. You could hear the hum of the fridge and the tick of the old wall clock like thunder in the room. Kate sat on one side of the kitchen table, her hands clenched tightly around a cup of untouched tea. Mr. Henry Kingston, billionaire, father, enemy turned stranger, leaned back in the chair opposite her, studying her like a puzzle he'd long stopped trying to solve. Ethan was asleep in the guest room, finally exhausted after days of fear, questions, and too many grown-up conversations he wasn't ready for. For now, it was just them. Kate's voice broke the silence first. I never thought I'd be sitting across from you again. Harry's jaw flexed. And I never thought I'd have a son I never knew about. They both looked away. For a while, it was awkward. No shouting, no accusations, just the heavy air of two people drowning in everything they'd left unsaid. Kate sighed, rubbing her temples. Look. You have every right to be angry. But so do I. That night, I woke up in your bed. Alone. No memory. Just confusion. Shame. And then pictures surfaced. Whispers started. Everyone thought I slept my way into the company. You disappeared. And I? She swallowed. I ran. Harry stared at her. You think I set you up? I didn't know what to think, Harry. I was 23, scared, pregnant, and suddenly the girl everyone believed in was the woman everyone whispered about. I lost everything overnight. His voice was cold. And you didn't think to tell me about the child? I tried. Her voice cracked. I came back to the building 2 weeks later. Security wouldn't even let me up. Your assistant told me you'd left for Tokyo. I emailed. I called. Nothing. Something flickered in his eyes. My assistant. Kate nodded slowly. Linda. Harry's eyes darkened. He stood up and started pacing. His hands were balled into fists. I remember that night too, he said. Barely. I was at the company party. Everyone was drinking. I went to my office to get my phone and that's it. Next thing I remember, I woke up in bed. You were gone. He paused. I blamed myself for touching you without your consent. I didn't even know if we. Kate stood, slowly. You thought I was the one who seduced you. He didn't answer. She walked toward the kitchen drawer and pulled out something she hadn't shown anyone yet, an old flash drive. I found this after Linda was arrested. It was hidden in her storage box. She plugged it into her laptop. The screen flickered. And then, security footage. Grainy but clear enough. Kate and Harry. In the office hallway. Both looking disoriented. Kate stumbling slightly. Harry leaning on the wall. Neither of them steady. And behind them, Linda. Holding 2 identical glasses of wine. They watched in silence. Harry's mouth parted slightly. She dropped us. Kate nodded, tears streaming down her cheeks. And led us into that room. Set up the camera. Took the photos. A sob broke from her chest. She ruined both of us. For a long time, neither of them said anything. The truth hung in the room like a storm cloud finally cracking open. All the years of pain, the blame, the shame, all rooted in a lie neither of them saw coming. Harry stepped forward. Kate. She didn't step back. I'm sorry, he whispered. For everything. For not looking harder. For not trusting what I felt about you back then. For assuming the worst. Kate closed her eyes. And I'm sorry for running. For not pushing harder. For not trusting you to listen. He reached for her hand, slowly, gently, like asking permission to touch a wound. She didn't pull away. For the first time, they stood close. No anger. No bitterness. Just understanding. They sat back down, side by side this time. And talked. About Ethan. About the sleepless nights. The lonely years. Her working 3 jobs to keep food on the table. Him burying himself in work, feeling hollow and cold even as his empire grew. And then they laughed, a soft, awkward laugh, when Kate said Ethan had his stubborn chin and dramatic size. Harry smiled. So he gets all the charm from me, huh? Kate smirked. He gets the messy hair from me, though. That made him laugh louder than she'd ever heard. The moment was soft. Healing. But then came a knock on the door. Bam bam bam. Kate froze. Harry stood instantly, his protective instincts kicking in. He opened the door to find one of his personal guards, panting. Sir, it's Ethan. He collapsed at school. Everything stopped. Kate's mug fell and shattered. The morning after Ethan's blood transfusion, Kate stepped out of the hospital room to find Mr. Harry standing stiffly by the nurse's station, holding his phone like it was ticking. He looked up. We've got a problem. Kate raised an eyebrow. More than our son collapsing yesterday. He handed her the phone. A scanned document filled the screen, court documents. Emergency motion. Request for supervised paternity clarification. Kate frowned. What is this? Harry exhaled slowly. Linda's lawyers. Somehow, they are claiming the original DNA test I ran was tampered with. They are demanding a new test in court. Her heart dropped. What? That's ridiculous. Yeah, he nodded. But in legal terms, it's not. The test I ran wasn't done under court authority. They are using that to claim it was falsified. They want to undermine my rights, and yours. Kate stared at him. So, what, they think you're not Ethan's father? Harry clenched his jaw. No. I think they don't care if I am. They just want chaos. That afternoon, a court official arrived at the hospital. DNA test kits. Legal chain of custody forms. A court date scheduled in 5 days. Kate sat by Ethan's bedside that night, watching his chest rise and fall under the dim light. She wanted to scream, cry, throw something. Just when she thought they were rebuilding. Harry entered quietly with 2 cups of coffee. Kate whispered, he just got better. And now this. He sat beside her, offering the cup. They won't win. How do you know? Because this time, I'm not walking away. That night, Harry couldn't sleep. He sat in the hospital chapel, alone, remembering his father's words from years ago. A real man doesn't just build empires. He protects what he loves. With everything he's got. He thought about his mistakes. About how he let other people control the narrative 6 years ago. Not this time. He pulled out his phone and called his legal team. No half measures, he said. Let's bring the full truth to court. The courtroom was cold and clinical. Cameras outside. Media everywhere. The headline had already hit the news. Kate Ives returns from exile, billionaire's secret love child in the middle of custody war. Kate kept her eyes down as they entered. Ethan stayed with a trusted guardian outside the courtroom. Linda didn't appear, of course, she was still serving time. But her lawyers did. Polished. Smirking. The judge, a sharp-eyed woman with no patience for drama, looked over her glasses. Let's begin. The opposing side's argument was theatrical. Mr. Kingston, the attorney drawled, is a powerful man. He could have created any test he wanted. There's no chain of custody. No supervision. We must protect the child's rights by confirming the truth legally. Kate nearly leapt from her seat. But Harry held up a hand and stood. He walked slowly to the witness box. And with the calm confidence of a man who'd seen enough lies to last a lifetime, he said, "I don't care about protecting power. I care about protecting my son. And if jumping through your legal hoops is what it takes to prove what I already know in my blood, so be it." The judge ordered the court-certified results be read. The technician stood. DNA results show with 99.9999% certainty that Mr. Henry Kingston is the biological father of Ethan Ives. The courtroom was silent. Harry let out a breath. Kate grabbed his hand and didn't let go. Ethan had one more treatment to go, and this time, it required a more advanced match. Doctors said the blood infusion was helping, but they needed a bone marrow sample. The list of matches was short. Very short. Harry was the only one even close. Kate panicked when she heard the risk involved. "You don't have to." "I do," he said. "I'm his father." The surgery went well. And when Ethan woke up with Harry's hand wrapped around his, there were no more questions. Only family. That night, Harry leaned against the wall beside Kate, exhausted but calm. She turned to him. "Why didn't you hate me?" He looked at her. "Because deep down, even when I tried, I couldn't forget you. Or that look on your face the day we met." She smiled softly. "They look like I was about to knock over a whole tray of coffee." He laughed. "Exactly that one." Silence. Then she whispered, "Thank you. For standing by him. By me." He turned to her fully. "I'll keep standing. If you let me." Ethan was discharged a week later. Recovery was slow, but steady. Kate moved into a quiet neighborhood, and Harry visited every day. Sometimes for breakfast. Sometimes just to read to Ethan. One afternoon, Harry was helping Ethan with a puzzle while Kate cooked in the kitchen. Ethan looked up. "Dad." Harry froze. Slowly, he smiled. "Yeah, buddy. I like having you here." Kate, from the stove, covered her mouth, tears filling her eyes. Harry's voice was thick. "I like being here too." The sun poured into Kate's living room as she folded Ethan's clothes. The soft hum of the washing machine was the only sound, until the door creaked open behind her. Harry walked in, holding a thin manila file. "Hey," he said. Kate smiled. "Back from the lawyer?" He didn't smile back. She paused. "What is it?" He dropped the file on the coffee table. "Read." Inside were copies of emails, financial records, and an anonymous bank transfer that dated back 6 years ago. Right before Kate was drugged. Right before Linda suddenly moved into a penthouse apartment and started driving a brand new car. Kate's hands trembled. Who sent her money? Harry said nothing. He just tapped the highlighted name at the bottom of the last page. Kate's eyes widened. Raymond Voss, CFO, second in command at Kingston Group, Harry's most trusted financial advisor. Kate sat slowly. "That's not possible," she whispered. Raymond was like, "Your right hand." Harry nodded slowly. "And that's what makes it worse. He had access to all my travel schedules, staff records, security footage. He could have erased anything. I trusted him." Kate flipped through the documents again. One email caught her eye, of a message Linda sent from her private account. "Everything's in place. She'll be ruined by morning. And your seat on the board? Guaranteed." Her mouth fell open. "He wanted your position?" Harry's jaw tightened. "He wanted the company. And he tried to take it, by destroying you and me." Raymond leaned against his office window, sipping whiskey. "She's getting too close to Harry," he said. Linda sat across from him, arms folded. So, she's young, brilliant, and the board likes her. He trusts her judgment more than mine these days. Linda smirked. So you want me to get rid of her? He nodded once. Permanently. Make it look like she seduced him. Wreck her credibility. Make sure she runs far. Linda raised an eyebrow. And what do I get? His smile was cold. Power. Protection. And revenge. Kate slammed the folder shut. We have to go to the board. Harry exhaled. Not yet. Why? Because if he knows we're onto him, he'll cover his tracks. I need time to gather everything, the hard proof. The kind that makes the board throw him out permanently. Kate bit her lip. Then let's get it. They worked like detectives. Emails. Financial audits. Interviews with ex-employees. Even an IT specialist Harry had fired years ago, who admitted Raymond forced him to delete key footage the morning after Kate's drugging. Piece by piece, the puzzle came together. Raymond didn't just sabotage Kate. He manipulated board votes, funneled funds into shell companies, and even tried to forge Harry's signature on a document transferring controlling interest of the company. The man had been building an empire of shadows, and no one noticed. Until now. Then, something unexpected happened. Ethan, while playing on Harry's tablet, accidentally opened an old folder labeled Drafts. One email stood out. It was a resignation letter, dated exactly 6 years ago, written by Raymond. Unsent. Harry opened it. And there, in a careless moment of ego, Raymond had written, I can't believe they believed it all. The footage, the staged room, the fake text from Kate's phone. Linda pulled it off beautifully. I just sat back and watched it burn. Proof. Direct, undeniable. The final piece. A week later, Harry called for an emergency board meeting. Raymond arrived in a tailored grey suit, calm and confident. Gentlemen, he nodded, what's this about? Harry didn't answer. He simply slid a folder across the table. Raymond opened it. Read. Smirked. Really, Harry? A few old emails and doctor transfers. Then Harry spoke. I didn't bring you here to argue. I brought you here to watch the security footage that was underlit by a forensic expert. He turned to the board. Including a camera Raymond forgot about, the one outside Linda's apartment the night of the setup. The TV screen flickered on. There, in black and white, was Raymond entering with a camera bag. Smiling. And leaving 2 hours later, without it. Silence. The board members looked at one another. Then at Raymond. His face changed. He stood. You can't prove. You already did, Kate said, walking in with the signed resignation draft. Raymond's face fell. Raymond was arrested that night. He went down for fraud, conspiracy, and multiple financial crimes. Linda's case was re-evaluated, and her sentence was extended due to new evidence of her deeper involvement. And Kate. She was offered her job back. Not as an intern. Not as a junior manager. But as head of strategy. She turned to Harry. Should I take it? He smiled. Only if you want your own office with a view. That night, Kate, Harry, and Ethan sat on the living room rug, eating takeout and watching cartoons. Ethan pointed at the screen. Dad, you look like that guy. Harry raised an eyebrow. The superhero or the talking dog? Kate laughed. Definitely the dog. Harry grinned. Thanks. Great for my confidence. Ethan leaned back against both of them. This is nice. Kate looked at Harry, and saw it. Peace. Love. And something she hadn't felt in a long time. Home. Sunlight filtered through the curtains, casting soft gold across the kitchen tiles. Kate poured a cup of tea, her movements slow and thoughtful. Ethan giggled in the living room, building a spaceship with Legos. Harry leaned against the doorway, watching her. She glanced up, smiling softly. "He's getting good at that." "Yeah," Harry said, takes after his mother. "Smart, stubborn, and always building something out of broken pieces." Kate gave him a look. Was that a compliment or a confession? He chuckled. Little of both. The past few months had been healing. Ethan was healthier than ever, strong, joyful, and beginning to call Harry a dad without hesitation. The company was recovering too. With Raymond gone, and Kate now a respected board member, the atmosphere was lighter, more genuine. But between Harry and Kate, something still lingered. Unspoken. Waiting. Kate found the envelope on her doorstep one evening. No stamp. No sender. Just her name in handwriting she didn't recognize. Inside was a flash drive. Nervous, she plugged it into her laptop. A video file loaded. Hotel security footage. The night she was drugged, from a different angle than anyone had ever seen. She watched herself stumble into the hallway, confused. Then Harry appeared, rushing toward her, concerned. He caught her arm before she could fall. He spoke, but the footage had no sound. Still, it was clear, he was worried, not drunk. He helped her to the room. She could barely stand. Then, both of them collapsed on the bed. Fully clothed. The screen faded. A few hours later, Harry woke first, confused. He left. Nothing inappropriate. Nothing manipulative. They hadn't been taken advantage of, they'd both been victims. Kate sat in stunned silence. And cried. The next day, Harry asked her to meet him on the rooftop garden, the one they'd started together years ago, back when she was an intern with wide eyes and no armor. The sun was setting. He stood by the edge, holding a small velvet box. But not open. "Before I say anything," he began, "I need you to know something." Kate folded her arms, curious. Silent. He breathed. "I was angry. Not because you disappeared, but because I knew deep down, even then, that I'd failed you. That I let people use my silence as a weapon." She said nothing. He continued, "These past few months, you didn't just give Ethan back his father. You gave me back something I thought I'd lost, myself." Then he turned fully to her. Opened the box. Inside wasn't a ring. It was a silver key. She blinked. "What's this?" He smiled gently. "It's not a proposal. Not yet. It's the key to my home. To every room. Every part of my life. I want you in it. All in. But only if you want to be." Kate's lips trembled. Her heart raced. "No contracts. No obligations," he said. "Just a door that's always open." The next morning, Kate woke to find Ethan in the kitchen, holding a box of cereal and a bright red crayon. "Mom." "Yeah. If you and Dad get married, does that mean I can be the best man?" She froze. "Oh." He ran to the fridge and stuck something on it. A crayon drawing. 3 stick figures. 1 ring. Kate laughed through the tears. "Is this your proposal?" He nodded proudly. Harry walked in, raising an eyebrow. "I see I've been replaced as the romantic in the family." Kate turned to him. "Apparently so." Then, she pulled the silver key from her pocket. Pressed it into his hand. "I'm all in." The wedding wasn't grand. It was small. Simple. Held in the rooftop garden where it all began. Kate wore a soft cream dress. Ethan wore a tiny suit. Harry looked like he couldn't breathe from happiness. When the vows were said, Ethan ran up with the rings and whispered to Kate, "You look like a superhero." Harry's voice cracked as he said, "You saved me." Kate whispered back, "We saved each other." Later, at the reception, Harry stood beside Kate and raised a glass. "I used to think power was in money, influence, control. But the real power." He looked at Ethan, then at Kate. "It's in forgiveness. In rebuilding. In choosing love even after all the reasons not to." The guests clapped. Ethan climbed on the table and yelled, "Best man forever." Laughter echoed under the fairy lights. Kate leaned her head on Harry's shoulder. This time, there were no secrets. No lies. Only love. And home.